Chimeras. A few days ago I did a video showing all of my plant setup, and in this video I showed you this plant. Well, it's been a few days now and I've received so many emails about this chimera and chimeras in general. I thought it would be a good idea to address the situation quickly. The question I received the most is, what is a chimera and why are they different from other African violets? Basically, a chimera is an African violet that has a blossom that has a stripe in the middle of each petal. And what happened some time ago is somebody planted some leaves of African violets, of something that bloomed like this, any type of bloom. Now, normally, if I plant a leaf that has come from a plant that bloomed like this, the babies should also bloom like this. And the same for this one. The babies should come out very, very similar or exactly the same. And the same here. Now, what happens when an African violet mutates into a chimera, this is a sample that can work. Somebody could have planted a leaf from this plant at some point. Let me get back here. And then the babies came out, they were potted up and brought up to bloom, and it could have come out similar to this one. Now, my understanding from chimeras is the flower colors will split in two. So the chimera that could come out from this one would either have a white stripe or a purple stripe, and the other color would be on the sides. This one would be the same. The chimera, from my understanding, the chimera that would come from this leaf cutting would be with a blue stripe and white sides, or a white stripe and blue sides. Now, when you have something like this, there is two colors. The stripe is lavender and has a lot of fantasy on it. So this one would have come from a flower that was probably pink with lavender fantasy on it. Yukeko, I have no idea what it came from. This one, I would presume that the flower must have been purple or blue with a green contour, because I don't know of any flowers that are green with purple dots either. And I don't know of any flowers that are purple with green dots, because if they exist, I want it. So I don't know if you capture correctly in the camera, but the stripe is really purple. I'm sorry, it's really green on this one. So that's what happens. It's a mutation. And unfortunately, these we cannot reproduce by leaf cutting. My understanding of how this works is, if I plant a leaf from a chimera, the flowers will come out either purple or green. Another example, if I were to plant a leaf of this chimera, the flowers would probably be produced white or purple. Well, not purple, it's like wine red in there. This is another way that a chimera can be born. They can come on very regular plants. The plant is up and blooming, and all of a sudden you come by to water and you notice, oh my God, there's a chimera bloom. This is how I got all of my chimeras. It's very rare, but it happens that just one of the flower stems of the plant will grow into a chimera. Now, this is a little bit touchy when we're playing with these, because the only way to reproduce these, and I'll take a bigger one just to show, is like I explained before, using these two little leaves right here. And that's the only way. So the flower stem has to stay on the plant, and we treat the little leaves each side. The flowers will die off and new baby plants will grow here, unless the flower stem dies off, and this happens very often. And yeah, that's the other way to get chimeras. Again, you cannot force a plant to grow chimeras. There's nothing we can do. We can only try to reproduce them when they do happen. It's a fluke of nature, and always a nice one. So now if you're new to the African violet world, you're wondering, how can I make these? Well, I'm working on a video right now to show you there are two ways of recreating a chimera. And one way is to remove the top portion, forcing it to make babies. And the other way is with keiki grow. On each flower stem of a chimera, of an African violet, there are two little leaves right there. I don't know if you can see them. I think you can see them. Now, where the leaf touches the stem, connects to it, there is a little bit of tissue there, and that is tissue that is chimera tissue. The reproductive, excuse my language, the reproductive cells of that area will reproduce chimeras. Now there's a special little product that we can put right in there, and I will be doing that in the next video. And the babies that would grow, if they do, would grow from these tiny little leaves. Not all of them, but most of them should come out exactly like the flower shown on the stalk. Now, here's a very, very nice example. I'm going to be talking more about this plant because it is a fluke of nature. As you see, there's two different colors. Now, if I take this bloom stalk and I lift it up, I'll try to show you. The two little leaves are right there, right at the bottom of the junction. Now, I could try to start babies from there, but we don't know what's going to come out of here. Both flowers are chimeras on this one. This one is sporting right now. I'm going to be talking more about this plant because it's really interesting, and I didn't even notice it when I was doing my rounds and showing you all of the basement. I actually came across this plant and showed you showed you how funny it is that it's sporting out. And what I didn't realize at the time is that this is fairy tales. The name of this plant, it's mine. It's one of my sports. And the flowers should actually be like this. And they're coming out darker like this, which is really beautiful. So this means that my little chimera, see, this is the right color right here. This will grow out to be big like this. My chimera is sporting me a new chimera, which is really, really cool. Anyhow, so enough for that one. If you really want to see how to produce these, you will have to look for the video called How to Produce a Chimera. I'm working on it right now. I don't know if it's going to be a part 1, part 2 video, but just check on the YouTube channel once in a while and you'll see. Okay, so to recap, if you plant a leaf of a chimera, it will not work out. It will grow new plants with either one or the other color. And also I want to mention they're more expensive than regular plants, and some people wonder why. Well, the reason is because, example, when I remove the crown portion of this plant, new babies will grow out. Unfortunately, they will not all be chimeral, but the only way to know if they will bloom correctly is to grow out all the babies, and that takes time and space, and this is the reason these plants are always more expensive, because we don't want to sell chimeras that don't bloom correctly, and so it takes time to grow them out. So in conclusions, chimeras come from very regular plants. We're planting leaves to get more babies, and we have oddballs that come out and they are chimeral. We are very, very happy when that happens because they're kind of rare, and you can't reproduce them by leaf cutting. And even when we do reproduce them the right way, some of them will not bloom correctly. The way to grow them is exactly the same way as to grow regular plants. They don't need any different conditions. Okay, so I think I have covered the basic information, and if you have further questions, just add them below. And watch out for that propagation video, the one about propagating chimeras. It's coming soon. Happy growing, my friends. See you soon.